All right, thanks everybody for being on here for today's member spotlight for you guys on the Zoom and for anybody watching on YouTube. Today's member spotlight is on Erin Sinnott and Dionte Ferguson. So we appreciate you guys being on here today. Erin, we're going to start with you. Erin is our newly appointed director of operations with Rising Coaches. So we work together every day. But give us a little bit of your background. You're a hooper first and foremost. So tell us a quick background of kind of your experiences.
Yes, forever, lifelong hooper. I grew up in a Chicago suburb, so I actually played for a team in the city. So that's what I was told. If I wanted to play in college, you had to go where the game was. So that's what I did. Had great experiences, great friendships formed there that I still have today. That just really kind of was a starting point for me. I then went to the University of Evansville out of high school and played there for 2 years. It ended up not being the best fit, but I learned a lot from it and grew and met some great people along the way. And then decided to transfer to Damon College in Buffalo, New York, which is a D2. So I didn't have to sit out and I got to play right away. My coach, she was actually my first female head coach I ever had, and an all-female staff at that as well. And she was just very monumental to my life and my journey and my passion behind women in sports and what we're doing for rising coaches as well. Yeah, a little bit more about that. When I was being recruited, I was the culture kid, I was the glue kid. And that's just really something that I'm now trying to take to my career. I'm doing my master's currently, so I was a graduate assistant at Southern Illinois and just finishing that up. But yep, hooper for life. I'll still try to play here and there, but
Yeah, you still get out there. Jump shot
I
not too rusty yet.
yeah, I was an assistant varsity high school coach as well as doing my graduate assistantship this past year, and I sure was in practice and I was loud and I talked a lot, so I was a huge communicator. That was something that coaches really liked about me, and that I, as a coach, really wanted to teach my girls, because regardless of your skill set, your communication is everyone can talk. So
Yeah, for sure. Okay, and even though you did a little coaching this year during your GA, like coaching is not necessarily I don't want to speak for you, but I don't think
yeah.
like the path that you want to go down for a career, correct?
Yeah, correct. I think being around the game has been great. I think anytime coaching was kind of difficult because it made me think that I was kind of only coaching because I wasn't playing. And I think that my impact can kind of be on a larger scale of helping coaches to develop and figure out how to then impact college kids. So using my experience as a player to know kind of what good coaches are. My senior SEM project was on the NCAA and the turnover that happens, and just the transfer rates are extremely high, and with the portal and all of that. And I think that if we have good coaches and good people to impact those student athletes, there's thousands of them that go into the real world, whether they go into sports or just go into accounting or business or anything like that. And I think that the reach is much bigger and more personal if you're able to connect with athletic departments and things like that that are then impacting the people that are going to the real world.
So in terms of like what that looks like in terms of like a job title, have you figured that out yet? Athletic director, working in the business side of sports. What does it look like? Or are you still trying to figure that out?
Yeah, that's $1 million question. If anybody taking polls. A lot of my mentors and people that I have in my corner that I really go to are really pushing me to go to the athletic director route. I did just work in an athletic department at Southern Illinois as a graduate assistant in the marketing and I saw a lot. I sat back. I took a lot of notes. I learned a lot of things, but from there, I'm not sure. I feel like if I stay in college athletics, I'm going to want to coach and then do things like that, SWA route. But I feel like potentially getting a lot of experience in the business side of sports on either maybe like a professional level or something kind of private and not necessarily under the NCAA would be really great. And then using those experiences and the business models and things like from professional sports, then potentially taking that back and impacting an athletic department at some point.
So as somebody that doesn't necessarily want to coach, like, has Rising Coaches been valuable to you, and like in what ways, if so?
Yeah, definitely. Rising Coaches is, if I could actually tell you a job, it'd be to do this the rest of my life, just because I think just the learning from different people's experiences is huge. Understanding their different viewpoints and the way that they're able to, I might not necessarily look at the X's and O's of an X's and O's show, but I'm able to see how that person is instructing their players and how they are impacting other people. And then being able to take that and say, okay, so that's how they're teaching these people. And I can then take whatever content I need to deliver and then do that in the same way, just with different content. So
Yeah, for sure. And so like part of, in addition to like doing random special projects for us and, you know, helping with the day-to-day like function of Rising Coaches and operations, you've also like done a great job of taking advantage of kind of like the other thing that we provide, which is like the opportunity to create a brand, and along with that, you know, enhance your personal brand. And so like you, along with Ashton, who's on the call, um,
mm-hmm.
have created this show, Women in Sports. So talk a little bit about like what that experience has been like and what that's done for both, you know, creating that brand, like in that show, but also what that's done for you, like personally and professionally.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing is if I could have a job title, it'd be support staff the rest of my life, in what regards that is. So I've really loved being in the background and making the people that need to look good, and valuing and letting the traits of them shine. I think Women in Sports is challenging me to, in a way, be selfish of then putting myself on display in a way that I never have, but being able to share things that have been on my heart that I've learned throughout my playing career, through the different relationships and coaches I've had, through just the things that I've learned as a master's student. So I actually study, my title or whatever that my master's will be is sports studies. So just taking all of the knowledge and information and being able to apply that, and then have guests on the show, obviously women, that just being able to display their journeys, and as well as being out of my comfort zone and kind of commentating that and helping to narrate and put their just what the impact that those coaches have made, as well as the aspect for myself of then creating that relationship with them. So a lot of I feel selfish a lot during the show because I want to ask my own questions. Ashton feels the same way. Like, she wants to get into the X's and O's, and sometimes the conversation doesn't go that way. And then sometimes different things happen, but we're able to build those relationships and then contact them afterwards. So just kind of ways that I've been able to do that is just the show that we had last night. We were able to really dive deep and have an intimate, very personal conversation with just different coaches that we know and different coaches that were willing to speak on it. And then just the impact that had on other people, as well as the topics of just being a woman in sports and those different things. I think we really would want a lot more men's coaches tuning in, because I don't, our show isn't supposed to shy away from men coaching women as well, because once again, I've been impacted in the way of, I barely had female coaches. And so I think that men that can coach women really well also can learn a lot from other women's coaches and things like that. So I think just from that, it's really letting me move forward and step out and be super, super uncomfortable, just putting my heart out there and helping other people to just showcase all their different stories and journeys and coaching styles, and just letting women like me and Ashton and younger girls even, and players that might want to go into coaching, to just see themselves in a way that they might not have before, or even knew that that was a career path, or that was even a position in sports.
Whoops, rookie move. I was on mute. You mentioned like the key word there, relationships, like the relationships you've built through the guests you've had on your show. And that is I've found that personally to be such a great way to open doors to new relationships and get in front of people that maybe you wouldn't have the opportunity to get in front of otherwise. And it is hard to like put yourself out there and host something and say, oh, I'm going to start a podcast or whatever. But so many of our members have like taken advantage of that. And so can you go more into like some of the relationships you've built through the show?
Definitely. Yeah. I think something specifically, kind of 2 points that I'm going to make is, one of them was Allie Mitchell. She formerly worked for the Suns. I was able to really contact her because for me, the professional realm is super scary. And it's like, oh, like you have to know somebody, obviously, like what we're about, like of just knowing people and creating that environment. But on the professional level, for me, I was like, oh, like that might not be what I can do best. And I don't really have like a foot in the door like that. And Allie, I really reached out to her and asked her, just what is that like? Like, can I have an opportunity and things like that to be able to work professionally? And she was like, yes, absolutely. It's just about the people that are going to work hard. It's about the people that are going to do the job and delegate and be very passionate. It's more about like the person themselves than the who type thing, which I think was very encouraging and helped kind of boost my confidence in that way. And then something else she said was, I think people get into a routine of saying, oh, I'm here if you need me, let me know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she said to really go after people and say, hey, if you need help, like with this specifically, like A, B, C, D, I can be that person for you, and things like that. And that was something that really helped me to, because I do kind of have all of these different experiences, and I do know I do sit back and watch and look. And so I know what the tedious things are, like kind of like how I'm helping in Rising Coaches, the operation aspects, the things that the coaches don't like doing, or just the simple like sending out emails, scheduling, doing that. And so that really pushed me to be able to then, when I go to reach out to people and start building relationships, it's like, hey, like I am very confident in this skill of mine. Can I help you in any way with that? Or can I help schedule this, or help you, keep things organized, and even just brainstorm with you. Like I'm a open talking person. And so Adam knows, like we always sit on the phone and just talk about ideas and stuff like that. So that's kind of my 1 point that Rising Coaches has helped me with that, as well as the many different coaches that I've had. A lot of throughout my college experience, I feel like I've had 20 different coaches on coaching staffs. And for me to be able to sit back and watch and follow those coaches as they've left and gone other places. People like last night, like Anya Covington, she was my coach for she recruited me to Evansville, but never actually coached me. And so for me to be able to build that relationship and keep it, and for me to sit back and watch her, and then kind of have her fill a place and be able to share her story and create a place for her to do that has been something Rising Coaches has helped, as well as like Allie Pawarski, who works for the Buffalo she did work for the Buffalo Sports Commission, but she's out in Buffalo doing different things. And just kind of keeping those relationships and challenging me to reach out in that way has definitely been how I've used rising coaches and women in sports and all of that. So
awesome. Speaking of your former coaches, I think one of them, Omega's on right now. So
she is, yes, she is. She's in my corner. She's my board of directors for sure. So she actually, as well as we're on the hunt for her to be on our show. So this is a public service call out that I will be reaching out. A lot of people have been sending me her contact. She needs to be on your show. And I was like, trust me, I know. But yeah, and just being able to, even like Ashley Barlow was on our show and she was at Evansville, went to Wright State because of this awesome pact that her and her one of her like childhood best friends had. And the best friend was, hey, if I get a head coach or if you get a head coach position, like you're dropping everything and we're going to come work together. And to just be able to put that on display, not only from like a story aspect of like journalism. I think sports journalism does great at talking about those things, but really just displaying how those relationships and those things are becoming like coming to life now, and just wanting to speak on the details of how they're now doing that and working together, as well as influencing athletes and winning games, because Wright State, they just won the Horizon and they're doing great things too. So yeah.
I love it. Okay, thanks for sharing, Erin. Does anybody have any questions for Erin before we move on to Dionte? We got a shy group. You covered it all, Erin. So okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Erin,
Awesome.
yeah. Oh, hold on. Omega just
No questions. No questions. I just want to say good job. You know, I've watched her leadership grow over the past 4 years, and I love this opportunity and platform for you to use your voice. I know you went through a lot when it started in your career, but this is why, you know, so that your leadership platform could grow and that you would be mature and ready for it. So I'm just really proud of you. So with that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, Erin, thanks again for hanging out with us for a little bit. And yeah.
Of
thanks
course.
for being on the Member Spotlight. Well done.
Of course. Yep. Tune in, Women in Sports, Thursday nights at 7. We're growing. So I appreciate it as always, Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Erin. Okay, Dionte, what's up? All right, so we gave you a little time to get out of your car into a new location.
Yeah, man.
Union?
Yeah, it's like the student union, the bookstore, stuff like that. It was a little bit cooler in here. It's a little bit hot outside, so.
Yeah, smart move. So, yeah, you're at a new spot. You just got to Tusculum. How long ago? Like a month?
Shoot, less than that, maybe about 3 weeks or so.
Coming from Morehead State, which is where we got to know each other, actually through like the manager games that we played when I was at SEMO.
Y'all whooped us pretty bad. You, Keith Piggins, Nick, LeBron, all y'all, man. Y'all did us bad on that one.
Well, you said my name first. I'm glad you said that because clearly I was the best player on our team.
Of course.
Like, I was just out there passing the ball to Keith and Nick, who are two guys that have no business playing in manager games. But those are fun, man. And you were getting buckets. You were keeping your team in there single-handedly.
Yeah, it was a bad setup from the jump. I wish I would have known that it was going to be more of a staff manager game rather than a manager game, because didn't do my homework on those guys for sure. So
yeah, no doubt. So okay, so obviously you did play. Tell us a little bit about your background as a player, and then transitioning into a coach.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Alabama. I ended up coming to Morehead State to play for Donnie Tyndall for 2 years. I was on the team that beat Louisville in the NCAA tournament the 2010-11 year. So we had Kenneth Freed, DeMonte Harper, Terrence Hill, guys like that. So after my second year there, ended up transferring closer to home. That was the same year Tyndall left and went to Southern Miss as well. So I ended up transferring to South Alabama to finish out. Played for Ronnie Arrow for 1 year. And then there was a coaching change when Coach Matthew Graves came in and took over for the final 2 years with Russ Williamson, Donnell Archie, Jordan Camp was our GA at the time as well. So had to finish off pretty decent. Had a good senior year, and then had the opportunity to go overseas for a couple of years. Played 2 years in Spain and about half a year in the Philippines. So I did about 2.5, 3 years overseas. Came back home, and I was actually in transition with trying to find out where I was going to go play next. My grandfather got sick with pancreatic cancer. So somebody needed to take care of him. I was kind of the one that was the most flexible to really take care of him. So I moved to Huntington, West Virginia. That's where my mom's side of the family's from. And ended up taking care of him for about maybe 4 months. And then came back home to Alabama, ended up, nothing was kind of shaking for me overseas for the most part. So I ended up actually working at Hyundai for about 6 months. And I was in the transition of moving to Atlanta. I knew I wanted to get into coaching, but I was just kind of trying to see what the best fit was. So there wasn't much movement. So I decided I was going to go to Atlanta, work for Enterprise for about a year and just kind of work the phones and stuff like that in my free time. Coach Russ ended up calling me and told me that Morehead State was actually looking for a GA. And I need to hop on it if I really wanted to get into the business. So that ended up kind of, one thing led to another. Made a couple trips back to Morehead State, and then, the rest was history.
Yeah, I love it. Coach Russ is on here, by the way. Coach Russ, no zooming and driving, please, sir.
Well, actually, my wife is driving. I made her drive so I can listen to Dionte.
Good. Okay. Just want to make sure. So Dionte, what were you doing like when you were trying to break into the profession during that year when you were in Atlanta to try to get an opportunity? You said working the phones, but like what did you have a process or what did that look like for you?
So I was actually I hadn't moved to Atlanta yet. I was still living at home with my parents. But I was working at Hyundai, working 10, 12-hour shifts, swing shifts, and I was in between that time I was just shooting emails like crazy to guys I had, possibly met or I played against in college, staff-wise. So didn't hear much back. I had reached out to Frank Davis who was at ETSU at the time, and me and him had spoke prior, but that was really it. And I didn't necessarily know how to work the system, like how relentless sometimes you got to be in order to get what you want. So in between that time, I was just working, emailing, and just driving back and forth to Atlanta, trying to figure out where I'll be staying at and things of that nature. Okay,
so you finally get your break or whatever and get the opportunity at Morehead. What was that like? Transition like? Was there? I know when I got into coaching, there was like a shock that went into it, like the first few months of like, holy cow, there's a lot of work.
Yeah. So I actually, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get into the coaching business. I played, I was one of those guys that was always like, yeah, like coaching should work out because I played basketball. I understand the game, it should be, even kill. Ended up getting into it, and it was mind blowing how much goes into it. Like my first month on the job, and that was when you can actually, in August, you can bring official visits on and stuff like that. Man, I was running everywhere, trying to get stuff done. Whether it was, doing style of play videos or having to, show them, certain parts of campus or, making sure that the meal was ready at coach's house for a team dinner when the recruits come in, stuff of that nature. It was almost like a culture shock, like when I went overseas in a sense, because I didn't realize how much work goes into, trying to get kids on campus, trying to get them to commit and even, to try to win games. So.
Yeah. What was like, okay, so give me like a summary of the 2 years, the biggest like lessons you've learned and just like overall how that experience was being up there in Moorhead, Kentucky.
I will say it probably helped me. It took my level of it took me to another level in regards to like my learning experience, because I didn't know almost anything coming into the business that coaches kind of do. I knew, you go recruit, but like in regards to like, cutting film, we used sports code our first year. So learning how to use sports code, synergy, it really went off once I was able to learn how to do like Photoshop, because obviously graphics and all that type stuff is like essential nowadays in college athletics. So being able to learn how to do all that stuff was just essential for my growth, because I always tell people that if I would have waited another year and possibly got a shot at whether it was a mid-major plus school or high major, a lot of those GAs are kind of in, they have maybe like 3-4 roles, things that they kind of do at our level. I was doing it all, scouting reports. I was doing, I handled our budget, travel, booked flights, hotels, charter buses. I did the recruiting graphics for the most part, and just little things like that, as well as getting out there and practice. And I would practice as well too. So, it was almost a full plate every single day, but it helped mold me to be ready for whatever position I would have got after this year, which was to be an assistant coach here at Tusculum now. So it helped me. It helped mold me. It helped me grow, and it led me here. So.
All right, let's talk about this. I don't think this gets talked about enough. Your second year of your GA spot, it's like March, whatever. Your season is like finally right. Obviously, coronavirus this year is an exception, but like your season's wrapping up. But in your mind, as like being on year 2 of your GA spot, you are more stressed because you got the ticking clock in the back of your head that like your job's about to be over, you're about to graduate. Like, how do you deal with that? And like, how did you approach the whole, like trying to find what's next?
Well, it was, I tried my best not to think much about it, just because, like February, March, the season still is going on. But I was in the back of my head, I was like, I need to start networking with a lot more people than I know. Like I knew my inner circle, Coach Russ, Matthew Graves, Darnell Archie, Keith Pickens, guys like that, guys I talk with, every week or every other week, that, I could get them to help me. But I was like, man, I need to actually reach out and just kind of start networking with other people instead of waiting to the Final Four to kind of meet guys. And that's when in January, I actually joined Rising Coaches, because I saw our GA at Moorhead, Adam Gage. He had joined Rising Coaches, I think in like November or maybe October or something like that. I kind of asked him about it, picked his brain about it, because that's one area I'm still, trying to improve on is networking, just kind of just reaching out to people, just even if you don't need anything, because I've always been the guy that, I don't want to just call somebody just to call them and just sit there and just not, be having a phone call for no reason, in a sense, especially if they don't know me. Like if they know me, yeah, it's cool, just call, check in. But if I call somebody, they might not pick up the phone. So when I saw that Rising Coaches did the Meet Two, program where you meet two coaches, that was really the one thing that kind of sold me. So between January and March, I think I ended up connecting with like maybe 10 guys just through that, setup, through the Rising Coaches setup. Obviously COVID, once that hit, it, my mind was all over the place, just because I knew that, it was going to slow the jobs hunt down. But at the same time, I knew that, I had good people in my corner, Coach Preston, Scott Combs, guys like that would help me find a spot. And it was funny because Coach actually wanted to keep me at the time. He was talking about trying to see if we could find something at Moorhead But COVID kind of messed up a lot of stuff, and he like urged me. He was like, man, like, you need to keep moving. Progressing. You need to keep progressing. You don't need to get stuck here. I want you to be the best guy, best coach that you can be. So he's really one that kind of put, his foot, down and basically told me like to get after it.
Yeah, that's great. And so how did this opportunity present itself? Coach Burton, did you play for him when you were at Morehead?
No, so it's funny. So Coach Burton, we never really knew each other. We knew of each other because obviously he was at Morehead the year before I came in. But he played for Tyndall as well when he was a player. So we instantly, clicked when the opportunity came up. So our former GA, Justin Chartrand, as you know, he ended up coming here last year to be an assistant. And I was actually talking with him. He was asking what I had going on. I was like, yeah, it's a couple, gigs that are open. I'm going to try to shoot for. And I was on a Zoom call. And JT was on there. And JT reached out to me and was like, hey, are you interested in a D2 assistant spot? I was like, yeah, for sure. So me and him kind of, started talking within like a couple weeks, just, kept in contact, things of that nature. We talked on FaceTime quite frequently. And one thing led to another. And, he made some calls to some people, Coach Russ, guys like that, who know how hard, my work ethic and how I can get after it. He ended up calling me on a Sunday morning and offering me the position. Yeah, I accepted.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. You obviously got into a great spot there. Coach Burton's one of the best in the business as a person and on the court. There's one everywhere he's been. How's like, so you've been there less than a month. How's it been so far?
It's been good. I actually, I've been transitioning, just moving my stuff down and stuff like that, man. It's it's the oldest university in Tennessee, 225 years old. So it's an older campus, but you wouldn't think that, from the inside, looking in, a lot of stuff is, stuff that, D1s don't even have at times. We have a good weight room, gym is nice. I still haven't broke around and seen everything yet. I still need to make my rounds, trying to find some players right now. So foot hit the floor running getting down here, but it's been good being here. The people, they're helping me get adjusted and things of that nature. So it's been good.
Yeah, I see you already got your recruiting pitch in full effect with talking about the campus and the people down there. That's great.
Yeah, for sure.
So any sense of like the different hats you're going to have to wear there? I assume that's a whole nother level. You talked a little bit about it at Morehead, being a GA at that level. Now you're an assistant at the D2 level. Like what's that going to entail for you?
So as a GA, I tell people all the time, like, as a GA, I was basically our director of operations in a sense. I just did almost everything. Here it's going to be kind of, I think, the same type pitch, got more people to help, but less hands to help like on the court type stuff as well. It's just kind of what comes with the territory. I would say it would be similar. Obviously our assistants, me and my other assistant will balance out a lot of stuff. We're very, communication is a big thing with us on the staff. Whether it's talking recruiting, academics, things of that nature, as soon as, I accepted the position, they kind of brought me up to speed on a lot of stuff that, we have to do at this level and with, this program to just have it running, as smoothly as possible, especially with Coach Burton and how quick of a turnaround he's made being here. Before he got here, they had a winning season in 10 years. And he went from first year 16, this past year 19. So, hoping to continue to keep the momentum going. But we're big advocates for all pitching in, trying to help each other out. And I would say it's probably going to be about the same as being a GA, but being able to only difference is get to go out and recruit now, which is, you know, one of the most important things. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to give everyone an opportunity to ask questions if they have any for Dionte. And while we do that, feel free to unmute yourself if you have one. I just appreciate you coming on and sharing kind of some of your experiences, and really glad to have you in part of the Rising Coaches family. So
I appreciate you, Adam. You know, it was an awkward way to meet, getting my head beat by 30 or 40, whatever it was, on the home floor. But no, I appreciate you and the Rising Coaching platform, and like you were talking with, you know, Erin about, you know, you're starting to see members kind of, you know, intrigue on their own, you know, branch off and start, you know, their own projects and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you talked about 2 weeks ago about what I'm trying to put together as well.
Oh yeah, talk about that. Tell us more about that. That's right. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah. So because of like the Rising Coaches platform, seeing everybody kind of do a little bit of what they're doing, I'm looking to start my own podcast called Beyond the Hardwood Podcasts, and with that, I'm focusing on bringing just any type of people in the basketball, you know, field, women and men, whether it's young coaches, skills trainers, NBA personnel, former players, or guys I play with, or, you know, things of that nature, just to speak more in depth, you know, about their path, but also kind of, you know, like the name says, beyond the hardwood. What is it? What kind of impact are they looking to make in the next generation, or kids, you know, that are younger than us? You know, obviously, you know, things continue to change all the time, and I think it's important to use our platform, especially as me being a young guy still on the rise in this business, to let people share their stories. And, you know, it's something I'm looking to try to get going by the beginning of next month. You know, things just kind of been crazy, moving, getting down here and things of that nature. But yeah, that's kind of something I'm trying to get put together. So definitely had to get you on there, Adam.
Yeah, man, I'd love to, and anything we can do to help, you know, of course we'll help promote it like always, but anything on that, you let us know. We'll definitely be on the lookout for that. Beyond the Hardwood, hosted by Dionte Ferguson. So awesome. Can't wait. Any questions for Dionte before we let him go? Okay, great. Oh, Tommy unmuted his mic. Go ahead, Tommy.
Oh, no mistake. But I just wanted to say congrats too, man. That's awesome. Keep grinding, man. Keep grinding. That's awesome. And you know, look forward to seeing your success, man.
Hey, nah, Tommy, I appreciate you, man.
Anybody else questions or comments?
Dionte, just want to tell you I'm proud of you,
man.
Just want to tell you I'm proud. Hey, when he played for us, Adam, his nickname was All Day Tay, because that motor never stopped. So although he likes my wife more than me because of these pumpkin muffins she makes, she can send you some now that we're not in the same league. But I'm proud of you, man. I love you, bro.
Hey, I tell people all the time, man, me and Russ, we probably talk like every other day, if not almost every day, whether it's text, phone call, whatever it is. Like, we always stay in touch. And Russ has been a big, you know, influence on me even getting here, and just, you know, helping me, you know, find my way through the business, whether it's, you know, trying to figure out how to get organized with staying in contact with coaches, or, you know, just kind of getting some advice on how I should go about a certain situation. You know, Russ is definitely somebody that, you know, I think almost anybody should try to reach out to and get in contact with, man. He's a good dude. Like he said, man, his wife's those muffins, man, are A1. I'm still waiting on that pan too, man. So tell wifey I need that.
Thanks for us. Anybody else before we let Dionte go?
Hey, what's good, Ferg?
So I'll figure out. I'll say
Gage,
something.
what's the word, man?
Got it, man. Good
Hey,
to
man.
hear your story.
Sorry, hold on. Let's go Adam Gage first, and then we'll get to you, Travis.
Hey, what's good, Ferg? Hey, man, I appreciate all that you've done. Helped me get through my first year being a GA, and I'm excited for you, excited for your future, man. I just wish you the best of luck. You know, you can always hit me up whenever. I know I'll be hitting you up a lot. Going through this year, it's going to be a crazy year, but I appreciate all your help for me and my first year working with you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, I appreciate you, Gage. Man, shoot, I tell people, Gage, man, he's well on his way. You know, he's learning how to break through those fences. And he's gonna be a second year GA at Morehead State, and you know, it was a pleasure working with you, man. As well, always, you know, we'll definitely be in touch, man. Shoot, don't be afraid to hit me up, and hey, man, let's make it happen over there at Morehead State while you're there.
You know it, man. I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you, man.
Travis, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, man, it was good to hear your story. Really want to connect, see if we can stay connected. And I just find it commendable that you walked away from the court to take care of your granddad. I mean, that's a big sacrifice. So I didn't want that part of the story to go unnoticed, because that was huge, man. It showed a lot of maturity. You can get a lot of blessings because of it. I know as a former athlete, it's hard to make the ball stop bouncing. So I just wanted to say that. I want to put my number in the message in the chat so we can connect. Yeah,
for sure, man. Like you said, it ate at me a lot. Like, you know, I was working out almost every day, trying to stay in shape just in case, you know, something shook so I could make that move overseas. But, you know, he got to a point where, you know, he couldn't even, you know, walk. It's a touchy topic, man, because, you know, it hurts. It hurts. You know, he passed about 2 years ago. Was right by him through it all. So now, man, some things are bigger than basketball, though, at the end of the day. You know, I tell people that all the time. And as a young coach, that's one thing I've realized. I know some people get into this thing, man, and they you know, tunnel vision. Like, it has to be this, that, and the third, man. But, you know, I've always been an advocate, man. I got to take care of my family first. Moms, all them, you know, little brothers, you know, they come first before anything for me. So now, man, I appreciate your words, bro, and we'll definitely connect. I'm gonna put my information in the chat too for anybody that want to reach out. Let's definitely stay in contact.
Thanks, Travis. Yeah, Dionte, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people do have tunnel vision. Those people also run into a wall because of it. So, like Travis alluded to, man, your ability to keep what's important in perspective is going to serve you well your entire life. So, man, we appreciate you being on here and appreciate you being a part of the family. And yeah, we'll continue to spotlight different members every week. And appreciate the guys that were on the Zoom and anybody watching on YouTube.
Appreciate y'all, man.